Alright, so this package here, oh boy, is supposed to have at least 11 batteries in it. Alright, so I'm just going to swap out these battery modules and keep them in the same order. Make sure that I have the plugs on the right sides, and then it should fix this battery pack. So lucky for me, there's this guy named For Real Time on YouTube who actually has a video of the battery breakdown, and I was able to just draw this out and color code the circles and make a map like that. So this is much better than the first map. I don't know why the first map was so confusing, but you can't go wrong with color coding. So let's see how far. Alright, so this is super annoying. Everything's together, but it just seems to be a little off. So it made me scratch my head and say, well, are these two the same size? And when you measure them this way, they're the same size. But when you measure them this way, and that's the issue we're having. I have an issue with its width being too wide. Those are that big, and these are a few points wider. So and if these are different, which they look like they are, it looks like they're way beefier than these ones. All this stuff has to come off of these batteries. These batteries have a gap that big. These batteries have a gap that big, much larger. And I don't think there's anything I can do. I mean, let's just try and pop this off, I guess. I think I should be alright. So I'm not going to bore you guys with me redoing all these batteries, but I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. Works. This is how I'm popping off the top caps and the bottom ones. Pretty straightforward. Show you how easy it is to separate this version of the battery, the middle pieces here. There's just these little tabs. Lift them up with the flathead. Boom, boom, and they separate just like that. And now they are completely bare, except for the sensors there. I think those are like temperature gauges probably, or something like that. The new batteries already have them there. It looks like it's possible to take them on and off. I mean, obviously you got to be able to put on somehow, but now that I got all these pieces here off of the old batteries, I can finish stripping the new batteries. Alright, so it's the next day. Still not having any luck getting this to work out for me here. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have just kind of winged it, you know, with how I was cutting it, because it's making it so some of these pieces don't really line up properly. So maybe dumb move there. I am still tempted to just run it without these caps on the bottom here, because they are all that's really holding me up at this point. I figure I could just wrap these up with electrical tape and it'll serve the same purpose. Also, again, it's going to be covered by this styrofoam piece right here, and then it's going to be held up in the air essentially, so there's like nowhere for it to ground out. Going back to this piece here, I saw this little metal square that says 2 on it, and it was jammed up in here, and I was like, I wasn't able to get a bolt through there, so I pushed it on out, and then it just popped out, and I was like, well, that shouldn't be like that, because all the other squares here that are numbered have tabs and they're connected. Like this number 1 is connected to this right here. So I found the only set that didn't have a 1 and a 2 with it, and this piece was all the way over here, and I had dropped this and it just fell down on the ground right there, and when I picked it up, that piece right there was over here. So I don't think this piece moved from here to there from it falling, because it would just fall out. So I think whatever happened here happened before I bought the car. And so it looks like, I'm trying to focus here, but it looks like this little tab piece right here is supposed to be connected right here to complete some sort of circuit, I would assume. I assume it's maybe part of the reason I get the IMA light, because if this is not completing a circuit, it's going to probably throw a red flag for the module there, or the thing that the computer that controls the batteries, and lets the other computer know how the batteries, whatever. So this should be there, and I'm trying to figure out a way to reconnect these two pieces. I'm not sure if I could get away with welding it. I mean, soldering it. And it doesn't really look like this piece is something that I can just get a new one of. I think I would probably have to replace the entire, all these fused little boxes here or something. But that's just something for me to think about. As I finally get this thing put back together, I will need to address this right here before I go and put it back in the car. Alright, so I soldered this together. Hopefully it fits. Alright, now that we got the top part taken care of and soldered back together, the last thing we got to figure out is how to make the batteries fit inside this pack. I already grinded down the outer edge of both sides here. Still up for debating whether or not that was a good move or not. I definitely could have made it so these things will not line up properly, it looks like. But you see how it bows out to either side there. What I'm trying to do is, I got the stock caps here, and you see those edges on the inside? I grinded them down with the Dremel, and now they fit a lot better than they did before, but it's still not exactly perfect. But if we can get some space saved by using these instead of these beefier ones, I think that's going to be the move. So I'm going to go ahead and Dremel out the inside of these here. Alright, we got all the black caps taken off. We got all the clear white caps ground down. And if you look at that, they all stand up straight. we are good to go. I think that's a W, you guys. Now, before we celebrate, is seeing if we have this fitting perfectly, which it does. That is what I am talking about, folks. Everything lines up, even our little ghetto tab here. Looks like we'll be able to clear that. I am concerned that under pressure this might snap. I should have just gone back in here and cut away at the plastic right there you see at the edge of my fingertip. If I would have just melted that down with the soldering gun just to make sure I cleared, I'd feel a lot better about this. Part of me wants to just go back and do it, but I think this will be just fine. This connection here, I rewatched the footage. I don't know for a fact if this tab was broken off by me, but I swear it was stuck right here, and that didn't make any sense. And yeah, so we are looking pretty good here, folks. These wires come up, hopefully have enough space to... Alright, let's get this all bolted back up. So one thing to note, if you're doing this, is to make sure that you're using the right bolts. So I kept as many bolts in here as I could. It looks like I need 1, 2 of these longer bolts, and it looks like I have 1, 2 right here. Now the issue being, if you torque all the bolts down below, you'll see that some of these bolts go all the way through here, and you will need to make sure that you're not doubling up as I would have done with this bolt right here. You see the edge of that bolt right there through that hole. I gotta take that bolt out and replace it with one of these ones. I'm just going through and making sure I can get these all threaded. You know what? I should have done a better job labeling these, and when I took them out, had I known that they were all going to be different sizes. Part of me wants to use this bigger 10 on here on certain outer edge ones, but I think I'll just use the small ones for all of these here instead. Now you would think that you could just count how many bolt holes you got here, and there would be an equal amount of small bolts. Just a moment of truth for this one. It should be okay, I think. Hopefully there's nothing inside here that presses down in there. Just going through, finger tight all these, and then oh, and I think these go up in here, don't they? And should I just go through and cut that piece down over there? I think that'll hold. I think that'll be fine. You know what? That's going to take me 20 more seconds to just melt that down, and it'll be a less tense connection. So we're going to go ahead and cut that down a little bit. Alright, so we just went ahead and cleared out that entire arm right there on this side. And alright, there we go. No more tension on this plug at all. We can even secure it back down. There we go. And we should be good.